Hey guys, I wanted to make a video about how to moderate an escape room game. So you guys know that I own an escape room venue. We've been doing it about 4 years. I've personally probably watched 5,000 games. So kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. This is one of our games on the monitor right now. We got a group of 6 in there. Let me get a little better view. So they're in there working right now, and I also have another group in the castle game. It's a group of 2 working on our castle game. We use stopwatches like this in our games, so we can keep track of their time. I recommend the stopwatch method of watching games. I've been to escape rooms where they'll time you on their phones and stuff, and it's kind of weird when you come out and ask their time and they pull their phone out and you have like 5 seconds left. I like a stopwatch, really easy to keep track of. We put it right under the monitor, and there's no problems. It's a stopwatch; it's not going to mess up, and it actually makes sense. So I briefed the groups. Well, how we do it here is if the group is falling behind, we'll give them an extra clue automatically. We do this because we can't hear them in the room. I've been to some escape rooms where you got to use a walkie-talkie, or you can dance or ask for a clue, ring a bell, type on an iPad. For my venue, we're up front in the front area with the cameras. So if you look at the monitors, so we monitor everybody. The front door is right there. So we're not tucked back in the back office or something. We can watch when people walk in and the next group walks in. It's not like we got to come running up and then lose track of our group. If we only have one group, we don't need more than one staff member working. Even 2 games. For someone like me that's watched so many games, I know exactly what's happening and when I should keep the group moving. You never want periods, too long of periods of groups not solving anything because they lose their confidence, and you don't want to end up giving them too many clues right in a row because they'll lose their confidence. So for our one game, The Jungle, let me show you these guys. There's about 16 puzzles. So they have about 5 minutes for each puzzle. There's 6 rooms they have to go through. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to look at, and even at the end, they make you go back and look for more clues throughout the game. So there's a lot of just area that you have to go through. And then for our castle game, it's our smallest game. So tends to be a little bit easier for groups. So right now they are at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to give them a quick clue to keep them going. The first 10 minutes, if you watch my other video, the first 10 minutes is for exploring the room, getting familiar with everything. That way when I give them the first clue, they know exactly where to go with the clue. So I'll be right back. I'm going to give them the first clue to give them a little push, just because they have been going. We have a big bookcase of clues. I'll show you in a minute. And what I want to do is I want to give them the least amount of clues as possible. So for this clue, I'm going to just tell them how to solve the lock, or where the clue is and what the lock to open is. So I'm going to give them this clue. I'll be right back. Oops, let me open up here. So I just gave them the first clue to pull that banner back. and there's a bunch of, I don't have a good angle of it, but they want to be opening up the lock over here. So they use those colored pictures behind the banner to open up that lock. Not a complex puzzle. We always like to have their easier puzzles to start, just to get groups, on a good, get their confidence up. A couple easy ones to solve, and then try to have more of our harder puzzles towards the middle of the game. That way, we can time the ending better to, try to get most groups out, or at least give them the chance to get out. Our games range from about 30% to 50% escape rate. And that's with unlimited clues that we give them. So, as you can see right now, they're working on a puzzle, which is good. Especially these first puzzles, like once you watch them enough, you can kind of gauge in how well they're going to complete the rest of the game just based on how long everything takes them. So they opened the first thing. If you look down here in the right now they are reading the clue. And the next step is they got to blow out these candles. So they're kind of distracted, but okay, so we can kind of check so right now they're at 13 minutes, and we know they opened the last clue about a minute and a half ago, so I never want too big of a span where they're not solving anything. I definitely want to continue with the game, but I also want them to give them a decent chance in figuring out themselves, because there is a lot of puzzles left, and this is a little bit smaller group. Their experience level is not that high, so definitely will give them a more in-depth clues than a non-experienced group. Let's go back and check on the other group. So they're a little bit stuck. You can see this guy trying to pry open the gate and figure out the answer. I'm going to end up giving them another clue just to keep them going. I haven't given them a clue in about, let's see their time. The time right now is 19 minutes. They're still working hard, which is good. You kind of want this, they're walking around looking at everything. They're definitely interested trying to solve things. So I'm going to give them another clue to keep them going, just to keep the pace going. They still have a lot more left of the game to do, so I'm going to give them a clue as to what to focus on, and then that way hopefully they solve a bunch of things in a row. But if not, I can give them another clue in about 5 or 6 minutes, and they'll be right on track of the game. So I'll be right back and we'll give them a clue. Just gave them a clue, keep them going. Let's look back, check back in on the other group. So these guys have not solved the next puzzle. They're about 16 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and give them the next clue because it's been about 5 minutes since they've solved anything. And we'll see how they do. The next step is to open up this cabinet right here. I definitely don't want to give them back-to-back clues, especially for 2 puzzles right in a row, but I have to keep them going. They actually have the right mentality where they're actually happy to get a clue. And then this cabinet opens, and now they actually turn the main chandelier on to keep going. So they're at about 17 minutes. They solved pretty much three puzzles or 3 parts of our game. There's about 16 total. At the end, it does give on kind of a snowball effect, and they'll start solving things really quick. So when you start checking off a lot of the puzzles that you've solved, the game tends to get a little bit easier. So for this game, it starts off a little bit harder and then it gets easier, which you got to know your game too. Once you start watching a bunch of games, you'll understand how to pace groups. The one thing we don't do here is we don't give clues and request. I've done escape rooms like that, and it tends to be like every time we get a hard puzzle, like let's just get a clue. But that's not really how escape rooms are set up. Like, especially not ours. Like, we want to give you guys extra time to do the harder puzzles, because all of our games can be solved with no clues from us. That's actually my perfect group, is when a group will get out with no extra clues. I've had groups tell me that they've been to escape rooms where no one's ever escaped from. That game is too hard. You want to constantly be changing your games up to either make them easier or harder based on the feedback. So these guys are about 23 minutes. They're right on track. Usually we give like a block amounts for how long each puzzle takes. We have clipboards for new staff members that will tell you how much time for each puzzle that we allot. If a group will fall behind, we'll end up giving them a little better clue or even the answer just to keep them on track. But there is a lot going on, and at the end too, the anxiety of the timer definitely screws with a lot of groups. So these guys are right on track. Hopefully they solve this lock right here, which is the next step, but we'll have to see how well they do. Just put this up here. So I guess it depends on how your escape room is set up, but you definitely want the least amount of interaction to your groups as possible. I always think you don't want to have to give a bazillion clues to get through a game. Game might be too hard. You might have to make the game a little bit easier to be fun for the masses. You don't want it too easy where groups will get out in 10 minutes. I've had customers say they got out of an escape room in 8 minutes. That's way too fast. And you don't want no groups to ever get out because that's too hard. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. If you like content like this, make sure you like this video. It really helps me out a lot. And subscribe to my channel. And I'll post more videos like this. And thanks a lot for watching, guys.